Good afternoon and a warm welcome to everyone present in this session. With the blessings of His Holiness Sri Jagadguru Shivaratri Deshikendra Mahaswamiji, I would like to welcome our guest speaker for today's is Dr. Shalini G. Agasthi. She's a pediatrician by profession. Welcome you, ma'am. And she was also the ex-consultant at St. Martha's Hospital. And now presently she is working as a visiting consultant at Apollo Clinic HSR layout. And she's also EB member of IAP Bangalore 2020 and 21. And her special interest is towards adolescent pediatrics. So I hope children will enjoy her session today, because a lot of information we will get, because adolescence is an age where all of a sudden we feel that it is very difficult to handle. So without any difficulty, how to overcome that, how during those time, how we have to behave, and what are the rules, or what are the things that we have to follow, or what feelings we will have. All those things we will have a clear answer for all those questions. At the end of the sessions, it's open for 5 to 10 minutes. You can ask questions, and Dr. Shalini ma'am will be answering you. Feel free to ask questions, because see, it said that you should not hide anything in front of a doctor, because few things you cannot be able to tell to your parents. Feel free to speak to doctor. If you have any problem for that matter, she will rectify it. Okay. And I would also like to welcome our principal ma'am, Mrs. Kitika Korola, and my dear children. During our session today, students will be exposed to a lot of various aspects of the world of work and during their learning process. So feel free to ask questions, and Madam will answer you. Before we start any session, we have a practice of having seeking the blessings from God. So over to Bhuvan Raj for the prayer song. Bhuvan Raj.
Thank you so much, Neetama. I would like to start this beautiful session by a small prayer on Ganesha. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Narada Uvacha. Pranayam Shirasa Devam Gauri Putram Vinayakam Bhaktavacha Smari Nityam Ahyukama Prasiddhaye Pratamam Vakratundam Cha Ekadantam Dvitiyakam Tritiyam Krishna Pingaksham Gajavakram Chaturtakam Lambodaram Panchamancha Shashtam Vikatamevacha Saptamam Vignarajendra Dhumnavarnam Tatastamam Navamam Balachandrancha Dashamantu Vinayakam Ekadasham Ganapatim Dvadashantu Gajananam Dvadashaitani Namani Trisandhyamya Patinaraha Nacha Vignam Bhayam Tasya सर्वसिद्धिकरं प्रभो विद्यार्थिलपते विद्या धनार्थिलपते धनं पुत्रार्थिलपते पुत्र मोक्षार्थिलपते गतिं जपेत् गणपतिं स्तोत्रं षड्भैर्मासे फलं लभेत् संवत्सरेण सिद्धं च लभते नात्र संशयः अष्टभ्यो ब्राह्मणेभ्यश्च लिखित्वा समर्पयेत् तस्य विद्या भवेत् सर्वा गणेशाय प्रसादतः इति श्रीनारपुराणे संकष्टनाशनां नाम श्री गणेश स्तोत्रम संपूर्णम्.
Thank you, Bhuvan. It was very nice. Thank you very much. And over to Shalini, Dr. Shalini ma'am. You can take forward the session.
Thank you, Mrs. Geeta, for a wonderful introduction, and many thanks to JSSR institutes, particularly HSR layout. I have been associated with them, and a very nice rendition by Bhuvan Raj about the Sankatahara Stotra. It's very nice. I have been associated with the school as a parent and a pediatrician. My son Pranay ji was he was in the school till 10th, and he also represented the school for his cricket matches. And I would also like to thank Principal Mrs. Geetika Karola, JSS HSR layout. She was very enthusiastic principal, unlike I have seen earlier. She was very enthusiastic and very promotive, and she was always promoting adolescent educational programs, and she was always promoting the students also. And that's what made your school very different from others. Rather than spoon feeding the children, I have seen the children start thinking and doing all innovative things. But at the same time, without taking much time, I would like to go through the session. I would like to start sharing the screen. One second. Everybody can see the PPT?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When I saw the topic as career concepts, I also thought before going through directly to the career, we need some info regarding this particular age group where it starts planning for the career and future life. So I thought I'll just give a brief introduction regarding the adolescence, and then we will go forward along with the career. Okay. So this thing starts with adolescence and overview. And as per the WHO definition, the age comes from 10 to 19 years. That means till 19 years, all the children come under the pediatrician. And from 19 to 23, they are called as young adults. They are not still adults, they are young adults. And a generation which is born with smartphones, they require more than the nutrition and immunization. And we know that adolescence is a period of transition from child to an adult, and change is the only thing which is constant. Like from zero age group, a boy or baby which is born till around 10 years, they have some certain things in the constant, that growth is constant. But here it is a change in many aspects. So change is one thing which we see as a constant from 10 to 19 years. So we'll come to see what a typical adolescent in this age group is. They are at the peak of the physical development. Suddenly they start seeing their body growing in all sides. They are more self-conscious because of that. And here, because they grow gawkily, their extremes grow faster, like the limbs grow faster than the rest of the body. So they become a little more self-conscious, and because of that, they are more easily accepted by their own peers who are also growing in the same way. Another thing is the need for independence and self-expression increases, but they are also impulsive and lack self-control. Another thing we notice in this particular age group is until then the boys and girls who don't show interest in the opposite sex, suddenly they become interested in the opposite sex. Their sexual orientation increases and inquisitiveness increases. But at the same time, they are also anxious regarding their life. And they have ideas. That is the reason we see that many of these age group children were initially they went into freedom fighting before when we got the independence of that age group. If you go through the history, our freedom fighters, they entered this freedom fight at that age group because that idealism also crops up. But they are also emotionally vulnerable. They can become easily depressed and vulnerable to risky behavior, substance abuse, and anti-social activities. Like, we have many things going on at the same time in these 9 years. Okay, they are also sleep deprived. So don't complain if your adolescent wants to sleep, and more sleep. So what are the changes we see during the adolescence? When I have said change is constant, so many things are happening at a time, like biological change. Suddenly the children start, they are entering the pubertal age. Like the girls start growing, the boys start growing a beard, the girls will start developing breast, and they start having the menstrual cycles and all that. Cognitive changes, that is when they start having an emergence of the abstract skills, like they start planning things, then they start having critical thinking. Like if you start discussing about certain politics, they also give their opinions. They start developing those kind of thinking skills. Emotional changes. This is where it is more important because this is heightened during this period. That's self-image, developing intimacy with the close friends, their relationship with adults and the peer groups are very much different with their very close friends. And the social changes, they start transitioning into the new roles in the society. Okay, so now we will see why these things happen. Everything is in the brain. We say the brain is the main CPU of our body. So brain maturation and how it affects the body. The lower brain, why these people from 10 to 19 years are of particular behavior? Because the lower brain is more active. The brain which controls our emotions, the amygdala and all these areas are more active. That is why they are more impulsive and more emotional. And the higher centers like your cerebrum, the frontal brain, which actually has a self-control ability, these are still maturing. See, everybody would have seen online that brain growth occurs till 12 years. Yes, the growth occurs, but the maturation, like we are all born with hands and everything, but we start mature after when our puberty sets in. In the same way, the brain also starts maturing after from around 11 years till it continues till 25 years. The maturing process continues till 25 years. That is the reason why, if you have seen, the legal age for getting a driving license is 18 years, not 10 years, 11 years, or 12 years. So the maturing part of the frontal lobe, which actually gives you the self-control, actually happens at the age of 25. Though there is an abstract thought process, the blossoming brain also is dependent on the genetic programming and in your environment. Okay. So with this kind of the background where the brain maturation is happening, the parenting also should be changing. That repeated assurances. The child sometimes suddenly says, I don't want to study, or he will become emotional. He says, I can't study, or I can't do this. So they require repeated reassurances and emotional support. Encourage them in involving family activities. Encourage them to start solving the problems in the family. Encourage the giving responsibility to develop. That is when they become reliable. Start giving them independence in the right way. Like you give a responsibility, give independence to actually complete that responsibility. So this is how you have to mold them. And involved parenting limits the risk-taking behavior also. So with all the background, we see why there are issues in spite of parents, at least in India, with a lot of parents' involvement, and the teachers are involved, and the society itself is more of a joint family and involved society. Why are we seeing a lot of problems? Or we started seeing the problems? Because the problematic influences are unregulated social media networking. They're big online shoppers. I think you might have seen a lot of newspaper news where they have seen some 5-year-old, he has purchased some 1 lakh through this father's account and all that. Because they don't know. They know only how to play the games. Then the peer pressure leads to peer pleasure. My friend purchased a watch. My friend purchased an iPhone. So even I wanted. These kind of things starts. Online gaming. Unhealthy dietary habit. Junks, which are called as very high sugar, trans fats, and caffeine. Many of the parents don't know the children taking energy drinks. Please check the drinks label on that. It will be high in caffeine. Like 300 ml is equivalent to around 5 cups of coffee. This is very dangerous because this not only increases the activity level, it also increases the heart rate. So the child is more active, and with the increase in heart rate, and if he's into online gaming, it is a catastrophe. So you need to check the junk food which they are eating. Is it just a dosa or a samosa is a different thing. You have to think of hygiene thing. But if there are anything coming out of a packet, what are the preservatives? If something coming out of a can, what it contains? What is the main thing, energy giver in that energy? Is it caffeine or is it high amount of sugar? Which both are not healthy. Then exposure to violent and sexual content. Just before I have told you, the part of the brain which is maturing is our emotional part of the brain. When that thing is maturing and children are exposed to these things, the other parts of the brain start going into dormant stage, and this part of the brain becomes more active. So we need to check over all these things. Online friendships, exposing to bullying. Person becomes a victim of bullying, slowly also starts bullying others. Conflict and other antisocial activities, drug addiction, and with all these things, they will lose the skills which they have been having earlier, and that too due to this media addiction. And of course, the COVID period also didn't help either. Okay, so how to manage all this? Previously, we were having a joint family system where some problem crops up. There is an aunt, there is a grandmother who had all the patience to explain. So now due to different job, different places, migration, we all are having nuclear families. So we require help. Everybody requires, even myself. So we require certain skills to handle and teach the children. So these are called as life skills. These are the bridge to pass through this phase. There are actually tools needed to deal effectively with demands and challenges of everyday life. And generations have been relying on these skills. The famous story of a thirsty crow with our Jataka tales, what it does, that crow is thirsty. So first thing it realizes it's thirsty. And then it starts searching, it finds a pot with little water, then it starts thinking, then it puts all the stones, and finally it solves the problem. So this is nothing but teaching life skills through stories. I think we need to go back to them, start reading, putting this as a perspective. I think we'll learn a lot. So right now, what are the life skills? Like your self-awareness, self-management. Children should know how to manage themselves on a daily basis. Empathy and sympathy. Playing online games, slowly children are losing the empathy. They are becoming more and more agitated, very easily frustrated. So we need to control those things. They will obviously, when they don't have all these things, problem solving and decision making also affects their interpersonal relationship affects. Stress management is naturally takes a backseat and they can't accept criticism. These are all the life skill to pass on throughout our stage to make our life easier. So this is what I have given you as minor, just a overview over the thing. I would like to take further sessions if Mrs. Geetika Karola allows me or gives me more time on life skills separately. And let us go, because this is a career connect program. I would like to start with the career of profession of healthcare. I am a pediatrician, and I will give my purview and how to get about it into this profession. Luckily, today's generation, they have a lot of career options due to the digital revolution. We never had. For us, when I was studying 11th and 12th, we had merely 3 or 4 things like going to an army or going into banking or just becoming a doctor or an engineer. This was 4 or 5 we knew. But today's generation, that way are very lucky due to the digital revolution. However, they're also at the disadvantage due to excessive information, which makes them more confused. And they're relying everything on the virtual world and some test, which doesn't help them at all. See, every career, job, it has its own negativity and positive things. Their pay scales, their facilities. You can't look into one thing and decide on a career on another thing. Everything should depend upon your skills and the knowledge we have. That is the first thing. We cannot just say, I will become something which I will only enjoy. If you start making that as a profession of enjoy what you enjoy, you'll get bored of. So keep livelihood as a separate and enjoyment, which can be a hobby, as a separate. Because when you're stressed out with your profession, your enjoyment is what keeps you balanced. So you can't every time, very few can do that. But most of us cannot mix both. We can keep our hobbies separate and our livelihood separate. Okay. So the next slide is my medical profession. This is nothing but a study to save lives, simply put and done. Like you are there to take care of somebody's life. Hello. Study to save lives, and you have to be there most of the time. Can you all hear me? There's a lot of disturbance. Can people hear me? Because there's a lot of disturbance at the background.
Yes. I think children, please mute your mics.
Yeah, they need to mute. Okay. So medical profession, unlike other professions, it's not just saving lives, it is also giving yourself to that profession, because this is not a simple thing. There's no time limit. Though you can still have certain time, but still you may, because of your skill, you may be called many times at odd times. So you need to be prepared for that. If it were easy, everyone would be a doctor, and this is the best job in the world, despite everything and because of everything. Many people would have been hearing very negative things about this profession of lately, when people start attacking doctors and hospitals, or something has happened, somebody didn't receive. But unlike that, there are a lot of other things which makes this profession worthwhile. See, why do you choose to be a doctor? You need to have an innate passion to heal the other person. First thing is that you need to have that feeling that yes, a person has come to me in pain or something related to pain or something, a life-threatening disease or something, a chronic problem, and that I need to heal. That is the first thing. You need to have that in you. Second thing is this profession offers a diverse career opportunities. Like I may, at the end of my 5-year course, I may become a doctor, but I have an option of either treating kids or adults, or I can enter into the surgery, or if I'm very much adventurous, I can just be in an emergency room attending emergencies left, right, center. So one profession offering different career options with a broad range of jobs, depending upon my expertise and likes. Like somebody is very good in counseling, he can go into a psychiatry. Somebody is very good in surgical field, they can enter the surgery. That surgeries, there are four in that. Again, if you want to be an ENT surgeon or an ophthalmologist surgeon or a general surgeon, again, there is a lot of variation in that. Somebody just wants to be a physician. They don't want to do work in the hospital. They can just open their clinic and sit and do prescriptions. So there's a lot of diverse career opportunities. Then another thing very common is the uniformity of the medical science. Like if you get a fever, a remote village doctor will offer you paracetamol, and even in America you'll get a paracetamol, even UK will give you. So it is a uniformity in the medical science knowledge and practice all over the world. So you can go anywhere and practice. And you will be helping the people directly. And it is also a service. This is only profession. This and the army and the police are the only professions which are called as a service, because we are putting ourselves at risk. The army and the police are putting their lives at risk, and here the doctors are entering actual that in the COVID people would have seen. Everybody is working in spite of knowing that they can get COVID and they can die. So these are the only three services which are called as service to the community, even though we are getting paid for it. You are always demanded in the job market. There are no dearth of jobs. The moment you complete your education, people are sitting to make you come and work in their hospitals. It's a stable job and a safe career. Anywhere, anytime you are practicing, even in the middle of the night, nowadays with your digital payments, they will wake you up, ask you some medication, you prescribe and then pay you then and there. So it's a safe career. Above all, the respect you get in the society is unparalleled to any other job. If you keep an IAS officer and a minister and a doctor on the same podium, 100%, even though many fear them, the respect will be towards a doctor, because after all, he gives us time and energy to save lives. Okay. Next, how to go about it. So if some of you have already decided entering the health professional, the first thing is by class 10, you must be having some interest in science, and you must be without unknowingly scoring more in your biology marks and little more in chemistry. And you'll be interested to read. In spite of other subjects, you'll be giving more time to biology. That is your interest. So by class 10, you are decided, and you come with science and mathematics. And in class 11, it is biology, physics, and chemistry. Those should be your subjects if you want to enter medicine profession, medicine or paramedical professions like dental and other things. So it has to be biology along with physics and chemistry in your 11th and 12th. Post that, there is another step where you start giving entrances, and according to the rank you get, you will get into either MBBS or into dental, depending upon your interest. Some go into physiotherapy, some go into nursing. There are other many paramedical courses too available. But if you're keen on MBBS, what I can tell you is you have to get a very good rank. Now we have a single entry exam, NEET exam for all the medical aspirants in our country, and that gives you a rank. And depending on that and the counseling, you get a seat in a medical college. And after completion of MBBS, there are two aspects. Either you just become a diploma, you do a diploma of 1.5 years and you practice or you work in a hospital, or further you can go about is doing your further post-graduation like MD, MS, and much higher things are available. So right now, the medical colleges in India, we have government medical colleges, you have private medical colleges, private religious minority medical colleges, and private linguistic minority medical colleges. Then there is Armed Force Medical College, where you can have a cadet entry. Recently, they have started for postgraduates too, which I think they are conducting one interview and you have to go through that. Okay. Then the eligibility criteria for all these colleges is 12th pass with PCD as the main subject and a qualifying rank in the NEET entrance. So once you are qualified and you choose a college, the course is of 5 years. The clinical teaching starts from the second year onwards. And post passing of the final year MBBS, you have to have a 1 year compulsory rotatory internship or a clinical training in the associated hospital with that medical college, or they will be posting the interns in government hospitals. So this 1 year clinical training is very important because this forms the basis of your clinical skills, how you actually see a patient, how much knowledge you have. Are you too much dependent on diagnostic reports, or do you really have a knowledge? Everything determines in this 1 year. This 1 year will give you the skill, whether you will become a surgeon or you're interested in purely practicing or you want to go abroad. Everything will be known in this 1 year, but you have to strictly work. Post-training, now MCI has introduced a next exam. I think from the next year they are going to do it, which after completion of your internship, because nowadays many interns are preparing for their PG entrances or they are going out of the country. So they have included this. Now, instead of a PG entrance, there is a next exam, which will be used, the same rank is used for the getting into a postgraduate course. So this also doubles up as how much knowledge they gained while in the clinical training. And along with that, the rank which they give, they may get some PG street. But in some states, there is a compulsory 1 year rural posting. Like in Maharashtra, you have to do a rural posting of 1 year, after which the government, once you join, the government will confirm your postgraduate seat. Because our rural areas are still in lack of specialists. So this is the reason why certain states have brought these rules. But still, it's very good working in those places because you get a lot of clinical experience. So coming to the main important thing, until now, most of you would have realized, like other jobs, I have not commented upon the salaries. Because this is one profession where at the end of 5 years, a person is trained to think more when a patient enters the hospital, to think more about his illness rather than the amount he's paid. Automatically, they start thinking about the illness. They start thinking about the approach to his diagnosis. They start thinking about the way to treat him rather than how much he is paid or paid. That happens only in corporate hospitals, not in regular hospitals. So anyways, I have made a list. This is the latest Times of India's thing, but I cannot guarantee it is exact. It is an approximate stipend. Interns are those people who have completed MBBS and they are doing compulsory clinical training. So the worst paying states is Rajasthan, to the good paying states in Chhattisgarh. We are also somewhere between Jharkhand and Delhi in Karnataka. So by the time you complete your 5-year course, you are earning pretty well. You will be staying in a hostel. They become independent. They are no more dependent on their parents. Once you complete that and you enter into a PG program, that is a postgraduate program, while learning or becoming a postgraduate, you are also paid because your postgraduate program is always conducted in the hospitals. It is never in a college or a classroom. So you will be working. It is more of a work than classroom teaching after you enter a postgraduate course. So there, the pay scale is very good, right? From 50,000 to 85 to 90,000. So it's very good. Once you get into a postgraduate, you become a postgraduate, you will be earning more. In fact, some people also, when they are not on duty, they go to nearby hospitals. Most of my colleagues used to do it when I was doing my postgraduate. They used to, on non-duty days, they used to go to nearby nursing homes and do a duty and earn more also. When they come to the specialist, like once you become a specialist, you are again paid around 60 to 2 lakhs in between, depending upon the hospital and the work and everything. What are the career prospects? This is one particular thing I want to tell you. In medical profession, it's how you are as an intern and as a postgraduate. The word goes around that so and so is very good. Please, they are completing if you want to take. So you're already decided about your job before even you complete. So there's no campus selection in this profession. Many times they end up working in the same hospital because they know the hospital, they know the rules of the hospital, they know what is available in the hospital. So they are more comfortable working. So many of them stay in the same hospitals for years together until they retire. I have seen those things happen. Then there is a huge demand for doctors in our country, as there is anywhere and anywhere. If you ask, there is no doctors. You would have been hearing that. And there is always a job available for a doctor. There was a saying earlier that a doctor will not go hungry because anytime they'll be working. A doctor also can start his own practice anywhere in India once he is registered with the state medical board. Because once the medical colleges receive the MCI registration, I am registered in that particular institute and in that state naturally. But if I move out of that state, I need to take the registration of that state. I need to just apply. They will check my certificates and they will give a registration number particular to that state, and I practice anywhere. The other option is you go to Delhi, get an Indian medical registry done, and with that registry, you can practice anywhere in the country. So there's no problem in the job market. In fact, most of them start their own practice. 70% of them create and give jobs. And of course, 100% are there with an intention to save lives. There is hardly any doctor who has an intention to harm patient. Of course, with the kind of the career, job satisfaction overtakes all the lacuna in this profession. I think this is one job where, in spite of everything, in spite of the lacunas in the hospital, in spite of the time which doesn't end in the hospital, the time of losing your family time, this is one thing which gives the utmost job satisfaction, unlike any other job. So thank you for your attention. Any questions? Any questions?
Shalini ma'am, I'm Geeta here.
Yeah.
I would like to answer regarding the Career Connect. You have told you how the children can approach after 12 plus. At the same time, I would like you to give an overview of adolescent, like the age of girls and boys. Suddenly, when they reach the age of adolescence, they feel very scary because it's very new to them. Sometimes they feel shy to share their this thing also, whether it was to the parents. So how you would suggest them to overcome this one? This is what I just wanted. For 5-10 minutes, you can just recapitulate that.
The thing is, why they become self-conscious and awkward is we don't speak about it. We, as a parent and the school or as a society, if you have seen, we don't speak about puberty. We don't speak about the changes. We are not open about these things. When certain things are not open, if you see, in our society, there are two extremes. The things which have to be spoken openly, given guidance, are not done nowadays. In spite of educated parents, in spite of everything available, that part is neglected. Many of them I have heard this, oh, they know everything. Nowadays, everything is open. They can learn from online. No, learning, see, online, it only gives knowledge. But understanding it and taking it and approaching it is a totally different. That has to be done by the parents and the teachers. Next, as a pediatrician, if they have any more doubts, they can come to me. So then there is the other extreme where everything is online. There is a vulgarity, there is phone, everything is online. But the middle part is left. Nobody is speaking about it. Like I think when it was in your age and my age, our parents have guided us through our adolescence regarding menstrual cycle. They would have told to be careful and we listened it. We listened to them, like we knew, because we are not very much exposed to the digital world, the wrong part of the digital world.
Exactly.
We are not speaking it openly. Menstrual, I'm really surprised because I have done one session in your school and I was really like shocked. All our educated parents, but the children were really afraid even to talk about menstruation.
Not only, they were unaware also.
Unaware
of that.
So because we are not talking about it, we are not at all talking about it, and suddenly we became very much, in fact, I think as an adults, we are also became little awkward speaking about these things to the children, expecting that it's not our job, we are sending to a high class schools, we are paying so much of fees, the teacher should tell. This is some part of the tendency. The other part is that the parents themselves are awkward about speaking. So these are the two things which have made this generation become more awkward. They are growing up. They know what it is. It's not that they don't know about it. They know what it is, but they don't know how to deal with it. And that's where parents have to come into picture. Parents have to start telling about the changes in the body. Okay, this is coming. Because sometimes I get certain parents that are terrified. They themselves are terrified that their child is growing. So when a parent gets terrified, naturally the child who is undergoing those changes will be in a state of shock. Change, we have to accept because we have grown and now our children are growing. So when we have grown and we have overcome all those things, we are a better person to teach our children that, oh, now you are approaching that age where your body will grow. You may start seeing certain things growing abnormally in your body. And this is because of this, it's normal. So don't worry about it. And give assurances. So this thing has to start in the home. Because the children are there for 6 to 8 hours. And now I think due to online, it is most of the time they're at the home. And the rest of the time they're in the school. The teacher's responsibility is teaching the subjects for which they're in the school. So nobody has the time to do that. So we have to cover up that awkward moment and start talking about it. We should be more open regarding speaking to the children regarding the puberty, regarding the changes in the puberty, and regarding why they start acting awkwardly in the puberty. And I think that will solve most of the problems. If you want, I would like to take one session along after this, anytime when you people are free.
Yeah, sure. And one more question from my side personally. Suppose the age of 15 years, a girl and a boy, are they same in their mental this thing, or is it because as a science teacher, I know may not be very completely because I'm asking you as a doctor, how do you feel? I feel girls are ahead of boys, maybe 1 year in their thoughts and in their mindset. Is it true, ma'am?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because if you see, the maturity onset in the girls is much earlier. Okay. And now with the present improved diet and everything, even the physical maturities are earlier. And as I told you, the brain maturity and the physical maturity, the biological maturity or the maturity of the sexual organs, they are coincided. So naturally, when it happens earlier, when those two things are developed earlier by 11, 12, 13 years, the other part of the brain starts maturing. So by the age of 15, 16, the girls are more mature when the boys' maturity starts at 14 years.
Yes.
That is the reason why the girls are more mature, because their maturity, biological, sexual maturity starts earlier, and now with the improved diet, it has started much earlier. So with that, their brain maturation also happens simultaneously. And with the if the environment and the parents and the support, they mature early. Here, the boy's maturity starts only after 12 years. So naturally, that also will take some time.
Yeah, thank you. It's clear now. Yeah. Because this, I knew that because we are observing, because when 10th standard girl, she will be a bit this thing in asking questions or the way she behaves, not so childish, but still I see boys still, they're not so matured at the age of 16, 15 years when compared to girls.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, ma'am. Let's ask questions from children also.
Yeah.
Yes, children, you can ask any questions. Feel free
Another
to
thing,
ask.
if they are little awkward in asking, they can write and send
type in the chat box. No, they can. I think they can type in the chat box if they have any questions.
Anonymously also they can put their questions in the chat box. Yes. And if they are still feeling awkward, they can send the questions to you, and I will answer it back to you.
Yeah, that will be better. Yeah. Yes, children. Anybody who wants to ask questions? Actually, they cannot speak, I think, because they are all
muted. I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's why they have to type in their chat box. Is any questions? Yes. I think no questions.
Another thing, so if the parents are also listening, I want to put in another word about it. As I told you, like you also asked about the brain maturation. Brain has an enormous quality of plasticity. Plasticity means that part of brain you are using more develops more, and automatically the other part of the brain becomes dormant. Okay. So if a child is constantly doing online gaming, that part of the brain is only developed. The rest of the skills, The maturation stops then and there. If the child is doing sports, if the child is doing music, if the child is, that part of the brain improves much better, because these are pleasant things. But if the child is doing more into online gaming, seeing violent shows or porn, that part of the brain, because see, adolescent age, when I particularly told you that it is an age where the biological changes occur and more prominently the sexual organs are maturing at that time. And if that time they are exposed to porn content on the media, they become addicted to it. And that part becomes dominant. And the other parts of the brain becomes dormant. They are slowly lose skills of other things and they become addicted. So we need to be very careful about what children are watching. Or at least, and nowadays, even after doing everything, putting all locks, child locks and whatever locks are available digitally, we have known so many spams are there, some pop-ups come up. That is not in our control. But what is in our control is keep an eye and speak to the children and explain them why they should not see those things.
Yes.
This is more important.
There's one question. I would like to know what exactly is menstruation, as my cousins have their thing and they tell me it pains a lot. So I would like to know how I can help them.
Okay.
It's a question asked by a boy, maybe because see, it's a caring purpose, maybe because if they're growing by sisters, along with sisters, yes, yeah, it's a good question, because see, when a parent is having one son and one daughter, if daughter is suffering, son also has to go. So let him know. You don't trouble your sister. Okay, madam will answer for it. Yes.
Very good. That's a very good question coming that from a boy. It's very good. You should see, menstruation is nothing but a which class you must be. Once you enter 8th, you'll know what more detail.
Yeah, I know he's in 7th.
So this is a cyclical thing, like every 28, 30 days. Because in girls from around 9 to 10 years, the ovary starts functioning. There are body parts like ovaries and uterus in a girl. So when they start functioning and they become mature, every 28 to 30 days, the ovary releases one egg ovum. And after 28 days, that is shed off. So when it's shed off, the girl starts having bleeding. So during that point of time, there is a lot of immense of cramps and body pains, because the stomach is the muscular structure is contracting during the bleeding. And naturally, because all that is happening, nobody's menstruation will be normal during the painful episodes. Okay, it's a normal, tolerable pain. Maybe for some it becomes an intolerable pain, which they have to take medical help. But for most of them, it is a tolerable pain. But at the same time, it is pain. So during that period, even their moods are not proper. So that is the reason why we have to understand that, give them adequate rest. And particularly to the girls, I need to tell you, no need to go and become see the advertisement and start jumping. It is as simple as that. Earlier also I have told, if you have a fracture, you take rest, give to the rest of the part. In the same way, if you are having menses and you are having cramps, better to take one day rest and proceed from the next day to whatever sports you want to do and everything. So there is some part of pain where your abdomen muscle contracts, giving the cramps, typical cramps. And because of that, their moods are also not good. So you have to understand that and see to it that they're comfortable. That's it. And if the pain is unbearable, then you have to take them to a doctor. I hope I have explained to the level of his understanding.
Yes, yes. Only thing is, even boys also should understand the feelings and let them not trouble their sisters, even moms also. Yeah. Isn't it?
Because nowadays, even the government is accepting this fact. Many of the central government, they are giving leave. If the woman wants to take leave on the day of the first day of menstrual cycle and she well, they are giving leave. The way we get maternity leave, they are also giving this, though it is not considered as a menstrual leave, but they can take leave apart from the CX. So now even we are waking up to the fact that yes, there is a pain, yes, there is some discomfort. And if the person is not comfortable working during that discomfort stage, she can very well take leave. There's nothing wrong in that. There is nothing to be feeling awkward in that and nothing to be ashamed of.
Yes, correct. It's only a biological change.
Yeah, it's a biological change, but it's you have to accept it and take rest if it is required. There's nothing wrong in that.
Okay, maybe they are feeling shy to ask questions. Let them send the questions to me, ma'am. I'll forward to you your mail so that you can answer. Or we will have one session at our center because offline classes are opened and school is running. From nursery to 12th, we have opened. So we will have one session so that because after a gap of 1.5 years, the children were at home because of this COVID situation. To overcome the stress and this thing, we'll have one session.
Changes I've seen today. Only one patient was brought to me with a lot of behavioral changes, that he's eating anything in the home, like plastic and everything, because he was not allowed to go outside due to COVID and all that. He started eating plastic items, paper. These are all behavioral changes we are seeing.
Yes, yes. So, and you can see that anger and that frustration, even when, because I can see the children who are very calm and this thing is there, they cannot sit at one common place and they are not able to sit now because in online maybe they were getting and there was a change. Now in between one period also they tend to go out, come talk to their friends. So there is a lot of behavioral changes. So we have to have counseling for those children.
They have missed so much. They have missed the school. They have missed their routine. They have missed the chatter or the fights or the banter they have with their colleagues, and they miss the teachers. They missed everything. So now they want to make it up very fast.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, I hope the children have taken the best possible utilization of your session. Okay, ma'am. Thank you for taking the time out from your busy schedule, ma'am, to give a lecture on the career opportunities to our students. I would like to thank our principal, ma'am, for staging such a useful session, because we had 9 sessions of this thing, and now this session, 9 sessions we are having from the parents' view, because a lot of fields we have covered: banking, army, then the pediatrician, so many things we had.
I forgot to put in that there is Indian Medical Services. After finishing MBBS, they can write Indian Medical Services, and they are posted in central government hospitals. They have a post like your commissioner and all those posts. These are central government posts. Post MBBS, you have to give a test and an interview. It is just like your civil services. You'll be posted in central government hospitals like railway hospitals and Indian ordnance factories, defense hospitals, and all those places. And the pay packet is very good. And also you have the opportunity of taking a further study leave and complete your post-graduation if you get a seat, and come back and again work there.
Okay, fine.
Even this is there, Indian Medical Services.
Yes.
I forgot to put that in the presentation.
Yes. No, actually, sometimes we feel 1 hour is not enough to guide, because each and every bit of it has to be explained very depth. So we're looking forward for your session, ma'am. I'll call you once to our school offline. You can come and just give a
definitely,
because that is very much need of the hour during this period after the COVID situation. We'll have only adolescents, this one only session.
And I'm also starting an adolescent specialty clinic in Apollo, HSR, behind your school only. And for particularly this age group, I am keeping 4 to 5 Saturdays free for that. Because usually after school, it is easier for them to come to the clinic, and whatever their concerns, they can speak to me. They can come with their parents and speak to me. It's just behind your house. So I started 4 to 5 on Saturdays. So that also they can do.
I'll just convey, ma'am, if you have a brochure or this one, you can just share it in the office in this thing. I will just, because it will be a much useful for our children.
There might be some issues where they have to keep confidential, and many of them don't want to like come out in open, and they may not want to talk in front of everybody. So they can
personally. Yes, they can contact you, and they can share their yes, exactly, ma'am. Yes, thank you everyone, and have the rest of your weekend with the happy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Shalini.
Thank you to Mrs. Geetika Karola for the opportunity given to me. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, children. Thank you very much. Bye, children. Bye. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you.